Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another episode of ReaperCast. Today we're going to be talking about a few new cards here again, coming out in Dawn of Majesty, which, like I said before in the previous ReaperCast videos, I'm not particularly too excited about the set, given that there is a few archetypes in there that I just wasn't as interested in. Of course, we did talk about the chronomalies in the previous video, so that was definitely quite nice. However, we are going through some new cards here, which hopefully will excite my attention towards Dawn of Majesty. But with that being said, let's just get started. The first card here is Gusto Vader. So we actually have 3 total Gusto cards here. Level 3 Wind Winged Beast Tuner effect monster. Attack 600, defense 1000. The first and second effects can only be used once per turn each. If a face-up Gusto monster is destroyed by battle or sent to your graveyard, and this card is in your hand, you could special summon this card. Not too bad, allows you to kind of recur, but also just continue on with your defenses. Second effect, if this card is summoned, you could send 1 Gusto monster from your deck to your graveyard, then you could special summon 1 Gusto monster from your hand. Definitely really amazing, allows you to manage your resources, manipulate your resources, and then bring out more monsters to go for your synchro plays. We have here Daigusto Ratbram Pilika, level 6 Wind Psychic Synchro Effect monster. Unknown attack and defense, oddly. Requires 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner Gusto monsters. You can only special summon this card once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned, you could also activate this effect. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except wind monsters. Also, special summon 2 Gusto monsters, 1 from your hand and deck, but their effects negated. And if you do, immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon 1 Gusto synchro monster, using only those 2 monsters. So it's similar to an Excel Synchro in some sort of manner, but just a different variant, one specifically for the deck itself. Second effect, your opponent cannot target other Gusto Synchro monsters you control with card effects. Definitely really nice protection effects, so I'm all for it. The last Gusto card we have here is called Gusto Tailwind, an equipped spell card. Equip only to a Gusto monster, you can only use the second and third effects once per turn each. First effect, the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Second effect, during your main phase, you can activate one of these effects based on the equipped monster's level/rank. If it's 4 or lower, special summon 1 Gusto monster with a different type from your deck. If it's 5 or higher, special summon 1 level 1 tuner from your deck. So it brings out specific cards, but then ultimately allows you to pretty much go for your synchro plays, or at least the further synchro climb. Third effect, you could banish this card from your graveyard, then discard 1 wind monster, add 1 Gusto spell trap from your deck to your hand. Definitely really nice, again just allowing you to manipulate your resources in the manner that this deck actually allows you to, so I find it to be quite interesting. However, moving on here, we have a new fairy monster. It's called Protector Spirit Logeth. It's a light fairy effect monster, level 7, 2400 attack, 2100 defense, and the first and second effects can only be used once per turn each. First effect, if a fairy monster you control activates its effect, you could special summon this card from your hand. Definitely really easy summoning conditions there. Second effect, you could target 1 face-up card your opponent controls and 1 attack position monster you control. Banish the first target, and if you do, change the second target to defense position. Not particularly the most amazing, but I mean it's a nice addition anyway. Third effect, if this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 monster on the field. It cannot be destroyed by battle during this turn, which is quite nice. It's kind of like a follow-up effect. I mean, what I see with this card is it's more so an extender for fairy monsters. I could see myself playing this in any deck that actually incorporates fairies, particularly the counter fairy deck. I mean, a counter fairy deck itself lacks so many big beat sticks, so to have something like this being a 2400 beat stick is definitely quite nice because it's so easy to just summon out. Moving on here, we have a new Deep Sea Synchro monster. So this is called Deep Sea Repetitor. It's a level 5 Water Sea Serpent Synchro Tuner effect monster with 1800 attack and 1500 defense. It requires Deep Sea Diva of course, +1 non-tuner monsters. You can only use this card's second effect once per turn. First effect, once per turn as a quick effect, you could discard 1 level 4 lower monster, this card gains 800 until the end of this turn. I find that to be quite interesting because you guys could actually use this in mermails and just go off really crazily on your plays. Second effect, if this synchro summon card is sent to your graveyard, you could target one level 5 or higher water monster in your graveyard except itself, special summon it in defense position, but you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except water monsters. Definitely really nice card to recur your plays, but at the same time I have to admit, or I have to actually acknowledge the artwork of this card. It's definitely quite exquisite, quite amazing. I am definitely very impressed with something like this, and it just makes me want to play a water deck more than ever. Moving on, we have here some Abyss cards which are part of the lore, which is definitely going to be really nice here. We have 3 new cards. The first one is called Black-Clad Dragon Albion, a level 8 Dark Dragon effect monster, 2500 attack and 2000 defense, and this second effect can only be used once per turn. First effect, this card's name is treated as Fallen of Albaz while on the field or in the graveyard. Second effect, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you could send one Fallen of Albaz or one Stigmatica spell trap from your hand or deck to the graveyard, then apply the following effect depending on where that card was sent from. So if it was sent from the hand, then you could special summon this card. If it was sent from the deck, then you could place this card on the bottom of your deck. If this card was placed from the hand, you draw one card. So very interesting on how it actually interacts here, each of its individual effects. Definitely adds the complexity once you actually start going off on your different combos, because your decision on choosing which one you actually want to activate will definitely change up your plays. Moving on here, we have a normal spell card, Bond of Stigmatica. You can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. First effect, special summon one Fallen of Albaz from your hand, graveyard, or among your banished cards. Second effect, you can activate during the end phase of a turn in which this card was sent to the graveyard to activate the effect of Fallen of Albaz. Set this card to your side of the field. Definitely really nice here. It's a normal spell card which is kind of like a Monster Reborn, only it's really extended and does so specifically for the archetype. But the second effect to allow itself to reset is definitely quite amazing. Finally, we have here Spriggan's Interluder. It's a continuous trap card. You can only use each of this card's name's effect once per turn. First effect, you can activate when your opponent activates a card effect. Return one Spriggan's monster you control to its owner's deck. Then apply one of the following effects. Negate that effect, or special summon one level 8 monster from your graveyard. So it's not bad, but it does say it is specific to Spriggan's, which is the deck that actually was introduced in Blazing Vortex, which I did not find too interesting at all. However, I will say this first effect here is definitely quite a nice effect. I actually like the gimmick that, well, not really gimmick, but I like cards that allow you to disrupt your opponents, with specifically negates. Second effect, if a face-up Xyz monster you control leaves the field due to an effect, you could make all monsters your opponent controls lose 1000 attack until the end of the turn. That's definitely very nice, allowing you to again further just disrupt your opponents in some sort of way, of course. At least in this case, you're making them lose 1000 attack for all their monsters, so quite nice indeed. But nothing that stands out compared to the previous ones. The next card we have to talk about here is called Swordmaster of the Bewitching Iris. It's a spellcaster effect monster, light, level 8, attack and defense 2500. You can only use the first and second effects once per turn each. During the main phase, if a monster whose effects are negated is on the field, as a quick effect you could special summon this card from your hand. Second effect, if your opponent special summons a monster, you can activate one of these effects based on where they were special summoned from. So if it was special summoned from the hand, then you could special summon one monster from your hand in addition to it, so definitely really nice to extend. If it was special summoned from the deck, then you get to draw 2 cards. And if it was special summoned from the extra deck, then you could destroy one of those monsters special summoned from the extra deck. Definitely really amazing. I quite like this card. It's generic enough that you could play it in any kind of spellcaster deck, But even then, you could play it in any deck really. I mean, I could even see myself playing this in Counter Fairies. But of course, this looks like a card I could also play in World Chalice as well, given that I could go for negates. I am starting to really like the cards that are actually being released. Like, a lot of these individual generic cards that can be incorporated in all decks, they're very nice. They're something that we don't get too often, so seeing these come out a lot more often in the more recent sets have definitely been amazing, because we don't get this in a lot of the older sets, you know. So yeah, this might make it interesting. Depends on the rarity of this card. I am hoping this card could become maybe an ultra rare at least, or maybe even a secret rare, but I guess we'll have to find out. However, that's pretty much it for today's video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, definitely drop a like, share, comment, and of course subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell notification. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you all next time.